sentencing a juvenile to life without the possibility of parole, basically you just throwing the key away on them.
It sends the message that children aren't worth a second chance.
It's like being thrown to a pack of wolves.
The United States is the only country left that sends juveniles under the age of 18 to prison for life without any opportunity for release.
The law in Michigan is that one who is charged with first-degree murder or felony murder, and they are tried as adults, and they are sentenced as adults, that there is no alternative but the judge shall sentence them to life imprisonment without parole.
So in Michigan, we have 362 who have been given that sentence under the age of 18. Over a third of the juveniles serving this sentence did not themselves commit any homicide.
When I first received the life without parole, I really wasn't understanding the seriousness of it, because my belief was, how can I get life without the possibility of parole, and I ain't shot and killed anyone?
It does not recognize that each individual is to be treated as an individual who comes before you. And I think that taking discretion out of the hands of the judge has done great injury to the system.
I was being abused by my father, and I was run away. I didn't think of the outcome being what it was, meaning somebody's life was being taken. All I cared about that moment was not to go back home.
Age is more than just a chronological fact. It means something. You're not a miniature adult. In fact, a lot of these crimes, you can see very clearly that they're impetuous, they're peer-driven, they're regardless of the consequences.
Everybody knows what it was like to be a child. Everybody knows what it was like to be confused and scared. And, you know, people grow up and it seems like they forget that.
I think there's no evidence at all that has had any impact whatsoever on juveniles committing crime. It does not serve justice. And I think that's a growing acceptance by the judiciary and by others in the state of Michigan.
The ACLU's position on placing a child in prison for the rest of their life until they die in prison is that it's cruel and unusual punishment.
Life without parole, that's just like the death penalty, but the only thing about it is it's a slow death.
The United Nations Commission Against Torture, the Human Rights Commission, every body who has considered this has considered it problematic from a racial standpoint, racially discriminatory, that the commission said it amounts to torture.
It would seem to me that everyone that sat in those courtrooms on those days and saw a 16-year-old or 14-year-old being sentenced to life imprisonment without parole has some feeling of questioning the dignity of a civilization, throwing away the key of someone so young.
I just think that it would be more humane just to put us out of our misery before we even have to come here and exist waiting to die.
We should be mature enough to recognize that people can change even with committing these horrible, horrible crimes. And we should reflect on the fact that it makes us a better community, a better state, a better country, if we also demonstrated forgiveness.
People will come up to me often and say, how can you forgive someone who murdered your aunt, 89 years old? It was just a power within me that had to be able to forgive a fellow human being. And we got to the dining room area, and there was my aunt on the floor. The next day, they arrested Ross Hayes and his cousin. They had both taken LSD that morning. May 31, 2009, 35 years to the day, Ross had an open parole board hearing. And I told the parole board, as a victim, I had forgiven him, that if Ross could go into schools, talk to young people, deterring them from drugs and alcohol. If one kid could turn his life around because of what Ross said, it's a win-win for society.
I would like to see for every juvenile offender that's currently incarcerated to be blessed with a second chance once he's demonstrated that he has improved his character.
What we're saying is that you can't, at the front end of a child's life, say they're irredeemable. You can't throw them away without a second look. They have to have an adequate opportunity, a fair opportunity to be released.
There should certainly be an opportunity for anyone who's been sentenced to life imprisonment without parole that their sentence is reviewed and they are given an opportunity to show that they indeed have remorse and they have improved their lives in our penal system, and they are ready to go out and be productive adults.
Even though I can't fix or change what I did, I can just change who I am and make myself a better person. Every day I struggle. Every day I try to be better.